Hello world! Patricia O'Connor and Frida, Reba, Darcy here. Today on the Bonsai Balcony, what are we doing? That's my impact gun, my Milwaukee impact gun. It's not impacting, no, it's got a drill bit in it. Why? Why does it have a drill bit in it? Well, with an impact gun, you can use an impact gun as a drill or as a screwdriver, but you cannot use a drill or a screwdriver as an impact gun. In other words, with these I can still drill holes or I can still set screws, but with a drill or a screwdriver I can't set lug nuts or remove lug nuts, for instance. So there's a little bit more strength, a little bit more power. This saves me from having to buy those two other tools. And what I'll be doing with this is I'm going to go down here, over here, and I'm going to drill closer to the bottom than what I just showed you. A small line of holes in that pot. I'm going to do that off camera. So right now I'm going to put that in a position where I won't drop that on my or Frida. So that is something that I'm up to today. Just a few projects that'll be going on today. It is trying to break 70 degrees. It is beautiful day in Alameda. The temperature is really nice. The wind is cool, maybe 5-10 miles an hour, something like that. Everything's looking really good. It's been a week. It's been a week since we got this guy, since we got that guy, since we had these guys, since we got this shelf, and everything is starting to settle in. We're in here all nice and cozy, and frankly, I think this is pretty cool. Not an abundance of space, but I think you know, if I had more space, that's just more room for more trees. We do still have some more room over there for some very hardy things. In the meantime, today was the first day that, yesterday when I got ready to water this guy, it was or yesterday when I got ready to water before I went to work. I raked back the soil, you know, how you do. And it was still looking damp. I was a little kind of on the rocks about it. I went, you know, since I brought this thing back, or since I've unboxed this thing, it hasn't been taking up water. The temperatures when it left the Dakotas were in the 70s. It was really mild there, unseasonably mild. And it showed up here where our temperatures are also unseasonably mild. So it's the owner had told me that he would water it once a day, and I was checking it and going, it's not taking up the water. I don't want it to be wet for I don't want it to be wet that long. I want it to start taking up. I want to water it when it needs it, and I wonder why it doesn't need it. Is it just the cool temperatures? It was. So yesterday we got up to about 75 degrees while I was at work. When I left yesterday for work, I didn't water the tree because it was still looking damp. When I got home yesterday, it was fine. It was in the perfect state of just starting to dry out in between waterings. And this morning, it got a nice healthy water, as did everybody else on the balcony. And it's good to see. It's kind of like having a bunch of company come over and you're wondering how everybody's doing and stuff, and the next morning everybody shows up ready for breakfast, ready to go. And it's just a good feeling that everybody's getting really nicely settled in. The Ponderosas, I'm looking forward to, you know, we could be doing a show about wiring one of those. We're letting it settle in. We could be doing a show about some other things that I'm looking forward to doing this. We're letting it settle in, and it's doing a really good job too. All of our needles have found a nice direction. I took the liberty of putting a little bit of motion in some of these branches that I thought could use a little extra motion in them, a little something that said I was here, and some others of them needed to have their positions restored from the trip that we made. So having done all of that, I think that's all coming along nicely, and we're just letting it, you know, this tree's resting. The cork bark that we just acquired is resting. These little ponderosas are settling in nicely, and they just got repotted because they got sent as plugs, which those are plugs. So they're all in a good place. These guys are in a better place. I think it was abusive for them to be on the rail. My two little ponderosas there got a lot of needle damage on this guy down here especially. So I think that's better. But all of the pines are looking really nice. And I'm really happy with the way things are. And that's just what this is. This is just a little check-in to see how everything's doing after all the stuff we did this past week. Now, you might can tell the tree's at an angle. The angle that this Ponderosa is sitting in is, I think, the angle I want it to stay in. It's either that or more. And I say it's either that or more because I haven't really seen it at much more of an angle than that. I think it would be a problem to pot it at an angle much steeper than that. But I really like this one. And this just happens to be my one wedge that I have laying around here, stuck up underneath the side there. What that does for me by wedging it up is it gives me an idea what it's going to look like when I have it potted at the angle I like, unless it needs to be wedged up a little bit more, in which case that will give me an idea what it's going to. Also, when you have the tree at the correct angle that it needs to be at, all the things will search for the sun at that angle, and it will grow in to kind of like, it'll grow into its position there, and you will have known how to position your branches based on what's bringing your branch tips up at that level. All of those things kind of hinge on it being at a level that it'll live at. So the good side to that is that's what that gives you, and it improves the look of your tree. If changing the angle improves the look at it, that's just a great way to get started at it. And there's all kind of ways to do it. Right now, I've got the back side wedged up about that high with a block of wood that came out of these cypress trees. That's just basically a wedge, and I got it crammed underneath there. What I will do when I go back to work is I will cut 4 2x4s from here to there will be the length of the ones. No, actually, the ones on the side are gonna be, oh, stop doing that to people, are gonna be this long. And the ones that are the length are gonna come out longer. And I'm gonna put set screws in there so that I will have a wooden 2x4 collar that catches that lip all the way around. Then I'll take the tree and I'll move it inside where I have more room to better work. And with some other 2x4s, I'll first play with the angle a little carefully, tilting it this way, that way, however much. And I'll have 2x4s on the ready with screws already in them, ready to be sunk in. So I'll have my pot, it'll have its 2x4 collar going around the top of it. And when I have it tilted at the angle that I like, I'll place 2x4 blocks underneath the lip of the pot where they will line up somewhere on that collar that I made, and sink screws into them so that it will stay at that angle. The tree will be at that angle. That'll be its new angle, so to speak. And until we repot it, everything will be growing in the direction from that, based on that angle. And that's just how we'll do that. What that could do is cause, like what it could already be doing. This morning, I watered this tree very, very thoroughly. It was good to see water go all the way through that pot. And it's very, very porous substrate, so it went through rather fast. But at that angle, it's also very possible that there is a little line of water down in the bottom of the pot here that didn't make it out of the first drain hole that would be maybe over here. So I'm going to drill a line of holes along the bottom here. Not a whole lot of them, just a few, to make sure that we don't collect and hold water there. It's not an unglazed pot, so I don't have to worry about busting the pot. It's a mica pot. It's a training pot, so that will be a little less attractive, but that will be functional, and I'm absolutely down with that. What I don't want to do is wreck the roots on that corner of the tree by having it tilted at that angle or more. So other than that, that's what I have going on today. The trees that we acquired, like I said, this one, the other 10 ponderosas, and the Cork Bark Black Pine are all resting but recuperating nicely, and as are our oaks. Everybody looks to be doing okay. It's just one of those really beautiful, cool days. Yeah, so I'm gonna mostly take the day off, do a little bit of house cleaning. With all of this stuff going on, I haven't really done a major clean from where we did all the stuff that blew apart the house earlier in the week. Our lights just went out. I guess that must be at 3:30. So yeah, maybe a little bit of housework and a little bit of taking it easy, and letting everybody. We're all in rest mode after a really good week of redesign and organization and acquisitions, and it's all been pretty exciting. So yeah, like and subscribe if you guys haven't already. Our next drop tonight, I think we will probably do something for our Saturday night at the Bonsai, and at Frida's place. Saturday night at Frida's place. That should be exciting, and I appreciate you, and Frida appreciates you, and thank you so much for watching.